The Deck Network. Build a deck.
Bam! This is the Deck Network. I'm your host, Mike Danzilio, and again we have Mr. Met.
The co-host, Matt Dalton. Remember, here at the Deck Network, it's all decks all the time. You heard the bam, you know it's on. What's going on, Mike?
Now, today's show, it's a, actually, this is the show that we had the most views ever on. Over 440,000 views. It's about Trex Elevations Steel Framing. My good friend Doug Lynn from the Trex Company is going to give us a little bit of background on it. When I guess I was in Las Vegas recently.
Yeah. I never got the invite. Did you guys get the invite there on your computer? You probably didn't.
No. Okay.
He does the traveling. I stay back here. But enough about me.
Okay, so let's get on to the video with Doug. Hi, we're with Doug Lynn from the Trex Company.
Hi, Mike.
Doug,
how are you?
Great to see you. Haven't seen you in a few months.
It's been a while.
Doug is the man behind the Trex Elevations Framing. Yes. So you had another year behind you. How's things going with the Trex Framing?
Things are going great with it. We're seeing a lot of upside all across the country, and we're also seeing a lot of differentiation in the whole aspect. We're going commercial, going residential. We're seeing it all over with the product.
Well, I'm talking to my rep in my area. He's saying that in New York City, a lot of it because the stuff is fireproof.
Absolutely.
And it definitely needs to be done. The Trex metal framing, the whole premise behind it is that, okay, sure, wood framing works well, but after 5 years, you're going to see it go up and you're going to go see it go down.
Absolutely, and that's the biggest thing. It doesn't matter which composite's on top. That's an inherent composite fact that it will follow whatever the substructure does. So let's put a substructure under there that'll straighten that out.
Sure.
Let's make it flat. Let's make it look just as good the day it was put down 5 years later.
That's right. You can have a perfectly flat deck with its wood, but you want to make sure in 5 years or 8 years, because this decking is so beautiful and these rails are so nice, that in 6 or 8 or 10 years you want to go back and see and have that, as you call a tabletop flat deck. And you can't guarantee that. As a deck builder, you can never guarantee that with wood, because it grows on trees. It's going to go up and it's going to go down, no matter how straight it was when you look at it. So do we have any new products from it for this year? Well, first let's see what we have for our normal products.
Absolutely. Let's look at the new product, the standard products we have right now. You've got a joist, you've got the drop beam, the girder, and you've got the track on the front.
Okay.
As you can see, this one's curved right here. We went ahead and notched it to get that curve. It won't be notched when you get it, but you can notch that on site, depending on how much of a curve you want to get. Those are kind of your basic parts right there. We've got, okay, here's the mid-span blocking. As you see, two similar pieces. All we're going to do, put them back to back. You'll be able to spread that in between your joists, screw on each side, screw in the middle. That one's done. We got the over the beam, same concept. Only thing we've done is added that tab right here on the bottom. That way you'll be able to screw that down to your beam.
See, this is in place of using a hurricane tie from your beam to your joist on wood.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. Exactly. We've got our posts. You got the 3.5 inch square. Then you've got the 5.5 inch here square. Again, it can be painted if you want to. It comes to you galvanized like this side here. This is just showing it.
So you just spray it with your nice little spray.
Or you can put a sleeve over the post.
Okay, what do we have for some stair mechanism right here?
We got our box stairs. So basically what we did is went on the premise of making a box, a box, a box, a box. Just all the way down. We connected them. So all we're doing is taking the elevations track pieces we already have in place, making a box, bending that front, putting a joist down the middle, creating our stringers on the outside. Simple box system, attaching them all together. That's our stairs.
Very strong stairs. With the steel framing, one thing we've been able to find is, depending upon your length and your spans of your joists, we're able to cut down on a few footings. Footings, done correctly, take a lot of time.
Yes, they do, especially in your area.
Oh yeah, when you're going down, we're only 3 feet where we are. In upstate New York or in Massachusetts, it's 4 feet, and I've seen it even deeper than that.
Yes,
and so,
exactly.
You've done a great job with the product. I love it because I feel that within the near future, 5 to 7 years, half of the decks or more will all be built with steel framing.
I agree.
So
with that.
I fully believe that. Doug, it was great to see you today.
Good seeing you too,
Thank
Mike.
you,
Thanks.
and see you again.
Sounds good. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, bye now. Okay, Matt.
There was Doug. We've seen him plenty of times.
Always a great guest here on the show, and a lot of interesting stuff that you guys touched on right there.
It's 10 years ago or longer, I knew that wood wasn't going to be around forever. So when I first saw this being under the Trex name, I knew it was just gonna, I was ready for it. Because wood, it's trees, they're sawn down, they're not really dried, because this southern yellow pine, it's real hard and it twists and breaks, so they keep it wet and they put it in the kiln fire. They put it under a vacuum, and then they apply the treatment or the chemical to it, so it, when the vacuum comes out, it sucks it right into it. So sometimes you'll see it, they'll drill holes and they'll test it.
So what does it all add up? You're saying that
what it does is that the wood is doesn't have that good integrity. There really wasn't much you could use yellow pine for all these years. They used to build ships out of it, and of course ships, they progressed to steel. Same thing with the decks. We started building the decks out of wood. We put the covers of plastic. Now we're looking at the weak point, and it's the wood again. Wood, grows on trees. Even if you look at a board, you could look down a 2x8 and it could be perfectly straight. And that's almost worse, because you wanted to have a crown one way or the other, because then you're going to know which way it's going to go. So it's
worse to find out later on once it's already been built.
We like to sell #1 grade wood because it looks better. It doesn't have bark and pine needles all over it. It's usually straighter. And if you build your deck with that, it's going to dry out. In the wood, with the expansion and contraction, the temperature fluctuations, it's cold, it's hot, it's dry, it's moist. The connections, the nails into the wood, they get weaker over time. And of course, that's a show for another day with all the different hardware type products. But wood, the frames, you don't know, you can't tell. In 5 years, it can go up or it can go down. And it's going to, some of them will say straight. So just look at this photo that we have behind us here. This is a normal deck. And you see all the bumps or undulations, looks like a putting surface.
Yeah.
And this, they have a video on the Trex site that they roll the marble and it goes up and down. Whereas this is the Trex elevation frame. It's like a pool table flat.
Perfect.
It just looks great. And hey, it depends on how
deep the pockets are. Is that what you're saying?
I think it's worth it. So we have that. A Trex Elevations steel frame on the deck right here at the studio.
Right here at the epicenter. If you guys are ever in the Northeast, New York, Long Island specifically, maybe they should stop by and pay a visit here to the
Sure,
Deck
of course, we would hope so.
And if you're not here, you go to thedecknetwork.com, get all you need.
Yeah. So we also, if you go to the Trex website and you go into the steel framing area, they have a bunch of photos and all sorts of technical, this is what it looks like if you cut it away.
Cross section there.
Grab out our little goodie bag here.
It's like Christmas morning when we get these deliveries here at the network.
Yeah, see if we can get this baby open. This isn't just like decking underneath the car. This is the track. It's 14 gauge cold rolled steel with the ceramic coating on it. Great stuff. We have this is the beam. Again, it's 14 gauge. This is strong as two 2x12s put together.
Wow.
And what that allows us is this, and everybody wants this design flexibility. And let's just take a look at the joist. This is the joist. You can bag that. This is the joist. It's 18 gauge steel, cold rolled, and it galvanized. It has a ceramic coating on it. Great stuff. They also have a touch-up paint that you can put on them. And as you saw in the video, if you bought the 6x6s and the 4x4s, you can either paint them or you can cover them. There's many things that you can do with them. There's an accompanying installation guide. That this stuff can get kind of technical, and sometimes I'll get into this. And they'll have all the different grids on here. And as we mentioned earlier, design flexibility. Now sometimes you can design one of these decks, it'll show you what the length of the joist that you want to have from the house to the beam, and then from the beam on your cantilever past. A wood deck, you can only go 2 feet on your cantilever unless you have it engineered to other specifications. But with the Trex Elevation steel frame, you can go up to 4 feet, again depending upon how much deck you have on the other side of your frame, so that other side of your beam. Again, design flexibility. In a lot of cases, you can go a further distance in between your footings. And now Matt plays the part of the homeowner on this show.
I'm the co-host. I'm the homeowner. I'm kind of not as knowledgeable as Mike. I don't know if you could tell that from where you're sitting, but
in the last 10 years, Matt has dug more sonotube holes than I have. So
I built my own deck. A lot of help from the deck network, but I'll tell you, I learned from the ground up how to do it. And
digging those holes were tough
that's where
work.
it starts, man. But that's why we got the guns. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So,
you need some of that elbow grease
If you can save yourself a few footings, that's going to save some time
and energy.
Yes,
trust me.
because
Take it
digging
from me.
those holes. So
Ain't
this
fun.
is. This is, I'm sure, is on the website somewhere, but this is the accompanying installation guide. And you can look at these, and once you figure out how it all works, if you can't figure it out, give me a call, and I'll give you a walkthrough on it. And how, the measurement from your house to the beam to the other side, lengths, and then it talks about the beam spans. If you're going to use a single box beam or a double, depending upon what you want to do, and you can, and it gives a nice, strong deck. So if you hate wood frames, I read that, or have read plenty of times, that some of these frames, are even built correctly, only have a life expectancy of 10 to 15 years.
That's not good.
So that's if it's done correctly.
All things
a lot
being
of times
perfect.
you always want to inspect your deck. You want to look at your house to see if you're starting to get some rot near there, any of the connections getting weak. But with the steel framing, we have all the parts from Simpson. They're in the book that you use to put it all together. It goes together nicely. Of course, the first time you do it, it does take a little bit longer. And as Doug said, that when he was building decks, in his contracts, he would say that it's not, the integrity of the wood is not guaranteed, and it can't be guaranteed by the deck builder, and people really didn't like that. So he put it as an option for a few years, and then he just stopped building decks with wood frames after that, because once you get good at it, you can, these guys, it's fast, it takes a few times, and to get it down, there's a lot of questions about it. What's the cost?
Let's get down to it, Mike. That's what everyone's thinking.
It could be, I did we did the show of the Trex Elevations Steel Framing last year, and I did some calculations, and it only came out about $3 a foot difference. That was using optimal sizes, and where it starts getting, so you're going to be anywhere from $3 to $5 a square foot more. Where it gets more expensive is when you want to make all where you have your feature boards and your picture frame, if you want to have steel around that. So some people still use wood there because you're still getting a steel frame, but where the blocking was somewhat, but that's where some of the expense can go up on it. As Doug showed us, he has some new parts. So the blocking parts, those 4x4 and the 6x6s, the methods to use the stairs. We built some stairs out of the steel framing out in our area, in our test area, and they certainly passed the Deck Network Bureau of Standards.
Which is going to be higher than most other bureaus. I mean, come on, we are the epicenter of decking. You didn't come here to learn about math or something, right, man? Come on. We're doing decks.
Doug has a real nice method of doing his stairs, but I liked mine.
They look great.
Yeah, okay. That's it for today's show. Trex Elevations Steel Framing. It's just a great stuff. I feel in the next few years, 5-7 years, that half of the decks are going to be built using a steel frame.
Wow.
One of my friends, who's the Trex rep, he was called out on what he thought was a Trex Elevations warranty claim, because the homeowner said that the framing was all rusted, and he got out there and it wasn't Trex. And when I was on one of these trips, might have been in Las Vegas, I was having dinner with a deck builder, and he was telling me, I'm sure it was, he was telling me about he only uses steel framing, so I was interested in it, but he used an off-brand, and I wrote it down, I put it in my phone, and when I got back to my office, I looked it up, and it's not recommended for exterior use. It doesn't have the ceramic coating on it.
So it's going to start...
okay, this product... They say that it's not guaranteed within 3,000 feet of the ocean for the 25 years.
So is that basically every area?
Yeah, but well, around here it is. But even joist hangers don't. Simpson makes their triple Z or triple zinc coated Z Max joist hangers. They could rust there's no lifetime. It's not guaranteed for any specific amount of time. If you're right on the ocean, if you have a second floor deck and you're above the ocean, you're splashing and you're getting salt on there.
Spray.
It's going to corrode. Salt or chlorides are highly corrosive. There's no specific time. I would like to see one of these decks that is right there and
see how it holds
up, because I think it's going to. If it's down low on the ground and the tide comes in and the water is the salt water is hitting it, of course it's going to eat it up.
So come on, use your best judgment.
Yeah,
come on.
But it's certainly better than wood. And the joist hangers, the triple zinc coating on them, they could be 5 years, you could start seeing some rust. So if you're really close to the ocean, you always want to use stainless steel, and it's required in a lot of places within 1 mile of the ocean to use stainless steel hardware, and which is very nice. It's definitely going to last. And we all know that a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. So you want to beef up all those links to make it all strong. Again, I love the stuff.
Great show here today, Mike. Good job. Any questions for us, Mike at the Deck Network, Matt at the Deck Network?
And any of these products can be purchased from the Deck Network store. There's an area for the elevations framing on there.
So you watch the videos, you get the info, then you go ahead and just purchase the product right there.
And we'll give you we want to add something to the website, the Deck Network store, that will give one free consultation. So you can leave a message on one of the phones we have here, and myself may call you back, or Matt may call you.
You're better off having him call you. I'll probably just tell you how the Mets are doing or something. I don't know if I have any good advice.
All right, that's it for today's show. As Porky would say,
that's all, folks. Throw the paper, Mike. Come on, let's get out of here. We'll see you next time. Take care.